Hey, how's it going, guys? We are going to turn the sound in-game down a little bit here. Good to see everybody, and we're going to, of course, be getting started here in a second. I think I want to increase the difficulty a bit. Actually, it's not too high, but I think the music is a bit too high, at least for me. I don't know if you guys are hearing it as well. Let's take a look here. I hear something, says Cable Nexus. How's it going, Zach? Good to see you, Condra, Fire Scorpion, Audie, Beryl. We've got the whole crew here. Dally, of course. My famous art director of sorts, I think. Independent art director, at least. Good to see everybody. Let's go ahead and take a look here, guys. Hope everybody sees everything. Play as Space Marine, says Fire Scorpion. Alright, so we're going to jump in about 4 minutes, my friends. Cable says +1 for Space Marines and Field of Glory 2. But to be honest, you know, we have so many awesome mods throughout all of the games that Richard Bodley Scott has made. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody makes a 40k mod eventually. It's only a matter of time. My little alarm going off there. Fire Scorpion he really wants Gladius to release. He really wants Gladius to release. I mean, you know, just like any good game, I think it needs time to marinate. You know, it needs time to soak up all those delicious juices. So I think that actually any game that's going to take a little bit longer than usual, it's always a good sign. And I think actually Gladius is right on schedule. But I totally understand that we all want to play it right now. We all want to copy right this second, but going to have to wait a bit. Hey, Byron, good to see you, man. Oh, dear. Yeah, well said, Cable. Okay. Okay, just want to make sure everybody hears me okay. On the mic, we're going to go ahead and jump into the game. We're actually going to be playing a sort of custom battle, because I want to show off some of the factions, and then maybe we'll jump into one of the epic battles. But really, I think custom battles are going to take up most of our time today. Typical Finland, Dowley. Typical Finn, I should say, from Finland. Great, Zach. How you doing, Redster? Good to see you. Okay, guys, so for our first, okay, not sure about music yet, as none on. Alright, let's see if we can't fix that. Give me a second here. Yes, there is Persia, and actually we're going to be playing as Persia, right away, so that's cool you mentioned that. We will be playing as Persia. Let's go ahead, yeah, we'll turn the music up. I think it might be a bit louder for me than for you guys, so let's see if we can just turn the music up there. Should be better. Let me know in the comments down below. As long as we can hear both, then we're good. We don't have any issues. And of course, the awesome Surtur. Good to see you, man. Music too loud now. Okay, we'll turn it down a bit. No worries. Keep it at that. That's a good steady medium. So guys, we are going to get started, and yes, I'm glad somebody asked about the Persians. We are going to be playing with the Persians, but more importantly, we're going to be playing with the Persian Immortals. So I'm actually going to take a custom battle here, and this actually surprised me quite a bit. So basically, There are several Persian armies in the game, but it was only during a certain time period where the Immortals were part of the Persian army. They had a lot of different units, and actually, once you see the units in the Persian army and how strong they are, the Immortals are kind of just a tiny little bonus, because they have a really interesting fighting force. So I think it's the 545 to 481 BC Persians that have the Immortals. Let's take a look here. Yes, the Persian Immortals, guys. These guys are terrifying. They're excellent in combat, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Persian Immortals, and we are going to face the Spartans. Pretty straightforward. We're going to be playing as the Persians, of course, and I am going to go ahead and create. So we're jumping right in, guys. I have to, of course, set up my Persian forces. There's also a fascinating shield that the Persians have. Just their fighting style, once you see it, I love it. I think this is my new favorite faction for multiplayer. This is definitely one that I want to stick with and fight all of my battles with. They have just a fascinating approach to combat, and we're about to take a look here at that. So, here we go, the strength of Persia against the heroic might of Sparta. We'll see who wins. I think we've got this one, honestly. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to take some Persian Immortals first of all. We will, of course, get a closer look. Right now, I'm just doing the setup phase. And you can also see a number of different colors here in the Persian army, a really colorful army. And actually, the Persians would use these colors, purple, blue, I can't remember the third. There were three main colors. And essentially, these colors would denote rank. They would denote status, location, a lot of different things. So it was almost like a method of communication. Sort of the way that our standard army uses chevrons today, the Persians would use colors to basically determine commanders and command status. And Fire Scorpion says 300 Immortals are nothing like real ones. Yes. Those guys are ninjas in the movie. Yes, absolutely. Hey, Raven UK, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Okay, we're going to also go ahead and take some Iranian Armored Cavalry. These guys are incredible, of course. And they also have a bow with them. So they don't just have, you know, their regular spear to attack. They actually have a bow that they can use to fire at the enemy and then follow up with a massive charge. And we're about to take a look here at the Persian army, and you're about to see basically how they work. I want to see if we can go ahead and get some horse archers. We still have quite a lot to spend here, and I'm going for a ton of basically horse archers. But basically what the Persians would do is they would pepper the enemy with arrows. So they would pepper the enemy with arrows initially just to soften them up. We just really wanted to soften them up. And then eventually, they would move in with the infantry units. And these guys would essentially mop everybody up. And if you guys take a look here at these shields that the Persians are using, it's a really fascinating system. But basically, they would have these large shields, basically just as tall as a man. And they put them right in front of themselves. So this would, of course, deflect any enemy fire, anything like that. They would fire with their bows from behind these shields. And then after the enemy was all weary, tired of getting shot at with arrows, these guys would charge in and slaughter them with their swords. So really just an amazing fighting force, and you totally see how Persia was able to conquer a tremendous part of the known world at the time. Let's take a look here. No problem. Glad to see you here, Raven. We are here to please. Okay, let's grab some light horse archers here. Put them over here at the front of our army. I'm trying to keep them somewhat separate from each other. I don't really want to get any raw hoplites. It's pretty useless, as far as I'm concerned. We could get some Sparabata foot, though. So these are the guys with the actual pavis. That's what it's called. So it's the pavis is this special shield they use, and it's really very, very effective. I mean, just incredible at deflecting enemy shots, and it's amazing. I mean, this is basically an archer unit that's able to fight melee really well. So that's scary in itself. It's basically just an army ready to go here. I will take some Eastern archers as well. I'm going to put them up here with my cavalry, and I think we are ready to go. So let's accept that setup, and we will end the turn and turn it over to the Spartans. Here we go. Confirm. So here is the might of Sparta, and they look absolutely epic. Of course, they're going to use mostly that hoplite phalanx to try and destroy us, and we're going to try to shoot them down before they even get close. But let me just zoom in on these Spartan units. Look at these armored veteran hoplites. I love the way they look, just creepy, extremely strong looking. Obviously, that armor is not cheap, and these guys are absolutely ready for a fight. So we're going to approach and get some shots in, hopefully. I'm going to first move up with just my cavalry. In fact, I'll move these cavalry units separately. And I think I want to try to get a shot right there on the light javelin men. So let's move up just a little bit here. Just starting off the battle with some shots. And really what we want to do is harass the enemy consistently with missile fire. And hopefully, eventually, they'll just break away. They won't even reach our lines. Of course, that's a bit harder than it seems, so we're going to wait a bit. Now, I'm going to grab this cavalry unit over here, the cavalry and the regular cavalry. We'll move them forward. We've got Vidarna, son of Arakshatra. I think I'm saying that correctly. And this is a general, so it's actually one of our sub-generals. We don't want to lose him. So I'm going to be very, very careful with this guy. And I'm also going to start moving up the rest of our army. Now, obviously, every map you fight on is going to be random. That's one thing I do love. And in the last map that I fought against the Spartans as the Persians and got a victory, I actually had some hills that I was able to stand on. So, of course, the Spartans would try to charge up those hills. I would be there waiting for them, fire at them, and just run them down. But here, it's all open ground. So I don't know how it's going to go. I hope we do well, but I'm not 100% sure if we will. We've also got our commander-in-chief here, Farhad, son of Walagash. So Farhad is actually leading the Persian army here. Let's move these guys forward, and we'll keep this infantry unit back here, although I'd like to go ahead and rotate them a bit if I could. Nice. Oh, yes, absolutely, Dally. There are a ton of them, and we can actually share a few of them here on the stream. So what Dally was talking about is, are the Spartan sayings. There's actually a specific name for them. I forget the actual name, but it's sort of a form of humor. It's very straightforward. And like, if you want to drop a few here, Dally, please feel free, because I do find them hilarious. And they're just very honest people, the Spartans. They're very, very honest. One of them, I think, was like a message from a Persian emissary, and it said something like, you know, if you don't lay down your arms, we're gonna destroy your entire civilization, and we're gonna enslave your women and children. And the Spartan response was, if. So just sort of, it's quite, yeah, laconic sayings. That's what it is. Laconic sayings. So yeah, if. It's just kind of very matter-of-fact response, like, yeah, well, you're not going to get to that point, so we don't have to concern ourselves with that. But definitely a really tough people, the Spartans. Okay, so they've got some light javelin horse. Of course, nothing compared to our guys, but I'll take it. Laconic, yep. The Persian commander's name, Fire Scorpion, was Farhad. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start peppering the enemy. Now, I'm much more concerned about their hoplites than I am about these puny light javelin men. So I'm going to start firing now. We're actually going to go ahead. I will hit the light javelin men just because if we don't, they're going to keep hitting us. But my main concern is the enemy force over here. So let's go ahead, get some more arrows into them, and we've disrupted them. Beautiful. I'm going to also hit these guys with my light horse archers. And as long as we can keep our cavalry away from the hoplites, these guys can survive quite a long time in this fight. There we go, down to 4, and yes, we're going to start moving forward already. So first things first, I'm going to move forward with the commander here. And now I'm going to start moving forward with our entire force. So you can see, even though they have these very large shields that they place in front of themselves, you know, they're still able to move pretty normally. Some units can move 3 tiles, but for all intents and purposes, this is fine. You know, it's not really that bad at all. So we're moving forward with this massive Persian force, and look at this. Even at this distance, guys, even at this distance, we're able to hit them with arrows. Now, I know some archer units that can't hit enemies at this distance. So an archer unit that can also fight on foot, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, I don't think I would be a very good Greek warrior, because as soon as I knew the Persians were attacking, I'd just be like, nope, we're gonna lose. Let's just give up while we still can. I really want to move this cavalry up, but I know better, so I'll keep them back for now. We will move this unit up, and actually we may get the Iranian armored cavalry a bit close to the enemy, because we could actually shoot some of them. Let's fire over here. 13, and we're going to move Farhad, the commander-in-chief, right up there in the center. I'm also going to grab this unit and move him up. And then we'll end the turn here and turn it over to Sparta. looks like some of them are turning inwards, so they could be going for an encirclement maneuver here. In fact, I think that's probably what they're going to do. They do outnumber us a bit, so forget that whole myth about the Spartans being outnumbered. In this case, they outnumber us, and we're going to have to fight them and still defeat them. Now, they have a lot of actual really weak light infantry units here, and since playing as the Persians, I just can't see those light infantry units the way I used to. I used to love them. Now I'm like, they're okay. So I think if we can destroy those light javelin men, first of all, that would be a tremendous amount of damage to their actual points over here. I mean, if we could make all of these guys run, we could probably win the battle. But I think we'll probably end up knocking down some of these hoplite units. So let's go ahead, let's fire again. Really want to break this unit. Fire. Fragmented, come on. Oh, it's too far away. I think we can hit him with the archers here. Let's go for it. 18, auto breaks, there we go. He lost too many men. So those light javelin men are gone, of course. Never to return. I think we'll take this Iranian armored cavalry and we'll actually fall back. Unfortunately, we did have to take a cohesion test, but we're fine. I mean, we didn't run a route. And I think we can go ahead and just knock this guy right off. Let's go ahead and charge. Flank attack. And like I said, these units are more than capable of standing their ground in combat. And as you can see, those shields, despite being used as basically walls during, you know, the shooting phase with a bow, can also be turned into actual just regular shields. They can pick them up. You have to understand that these shields that they're using, they're actually made of wicker. So, you know, that might sound kind of puny, like, well, wicker can't stop a steel sword, and it probably can't, to be honest with you. But I think as far as I can understand it, the goal of these Persian shields wasn't necessarily to deflect a blow from, like, a sword, but rather to stop, you know, a shot from a bow or something like that. You know, I don't think they were necessarily counting on these shields in actual combat, because I'm pretty sure most people on this stream, despite the fact that many of us play video games all day, including those of us that work in the industry, you know, we probably don't have the muscle strength to really stand our ground and maybe carry this thing around during a battle. Or maybe we do. I'm not sure. Really depends. So as you can see, even at this distance, we can fire huge bursts at the enemy. They did hold firm, but as you can see right there, they could have broken. Or they could have, not necessarily broken, but fragmented. So I'm going to fire here as well. And this is another one of our generals, Quihar, son of Arshad. And he's got a Persian Immortals unit. So the Persian Immortals really stand out. They've got this sort of, I guess you could call it, I think it's a bronze sort of armor plating that covers their chest and sort of nether regions area. And this thing is extremely strong and durable. So, you know, while the actual wicker shield might not be able to stop a blow, that probably will in most cases. Let's take a look at this. Dally mentioned another laconic saying, which is a variation is that a lame man is going to war and tells his mother that while he might not fight well, he'll at least slow the enemy down with his flesh. Yeah, typical Spartans. And ZBG the Doomed, welcome to the stream, as well as SGBU. Good to see you guys. Bronze scale, indeed. Thank you, ZOG, sorry. If you can tell us what they're called, that would be awesome. So, I guess they're not shields, but I guess you can use them like shields. Certainly when these guys go into combat, they pick them up almost like shields. But yeah, being made of wicker, I couldn't imagine these things being too effective in a defensive sense in most cases. You know, in some cases, probably. Against an arrow, probably, but against an actual group of enemies with swords, I doubt it. The enemy held firm there. We've got to be careful. But we'll keep moving forward with this guy, and let's try to get behind the enemy units with our cavalry. We know we can't beat their hoplites with our cavalry. That's impossible. So we can at least get behind them and try to harass them with some missile fire. And maybe eventually turn back and flank the enemy. So that's going to be our ultimate goal. No worries, here they're called a pavis, but I know it's not a pavis. I think a pavis is the type of shield they're using, but there's an actual name for the Persian pavis, which is different. There's actually, you know, various other cultures use this shield. It wasn't just the Persians. Let's see. Okay, I think we can go over here. We're in a tough position right now. We kind of should fall back, but this guy is stopping us from falling back. What to do? I'm going to try to escape here to the left, but I think the enemy's actually successfully sort of held us in. and we can still move forward with one of our units. We definitely will do that. So let's go with this infantry unit and get a full burst on the enemy. So once again, fire and move, fire and attack. Just amazing. What about a charge here? No, that's not going to work. I think our cavalry is going to have very limited success on the battlefield here with our swords. We're really going to have to focus on the bows. All right, turning it over to the Greeks. I'm scared. All right, there we go. We dispersed one of their units. We shouldn't be scared. Here we go. We can do this. We can do this. Oh, they're attacking the armored citizen hoplites. Now, I'm guessing armored citizen hoplites probably not as strong as the armored veteran hoplites, but they can put up a fight. I mean, even the Spartan average citizen is going to be pretty tough. Now, keep in mind, guys, in this particular DLC, it's not just the Spartans and the Persians. There's actually 8 different factions, a tremendous amount of new army lists. I mean, you guys saw there just for the Persian army, there's 5 army lists from various years. So you can choose any number of different setups for the Persians, but I think only 1 or 2 hold this Immortal unit. So keep that in mind. I don't like that these light javelin men are peppering my general unit here. I'm going to try to charge through here. I mean, it would be amazing if it would work, but I don't know if it will. Here we go. Enemy still holding firm. They're still holding firm. Wow. And auto breaks. So I figured that was going to happen. An auto break happens when maybe the unit doesn't necessarily fail a morale check, but there's just not enough men in the unit to continue fighting. So let's go ahead. Let's fire at this unit. 24 right away. Disrupted. This is what we were trying to do. We want to soften them up. And I think our cavalry might even be able to knock these guys down if this goes right. Actually, I think we'll turn and fire at this guy. They're just too close and too dangerous right now, especially since we have a cavalry unit right here. So I'm going to fall back, but we got disrupted for doing that. So not the greatest idea in the world. Before firing, I want to try to weaken these units as much as possible. So let's turn and fire. Turn and fire. Turn and fire once again. I'm not going to charge. I'm just going to pepper them with arrows. I want to force them to attack us. Okay. Have no choice. I've got to get these guys away from me. And actually, what I might do... Yes, beautiful. This is the only time I've been happy that an enemy unit has actually evaded me, because it allowed me to escape this area. So that actually worked out in our favor. Keep running, keep running. Okay, let's see what else we can do here. Let's see how... No, these... I was going to say let's see how tough these citizen hoplites are, but even with the charge here... They can absolutely hold a phalanx. I'm pretty sure that a Spartan child, even if the Spartan child doesn't necessarily become a warrior, is going to know how to hold a hoplite phalanx pretty well. That's certainly being shown here. Let's fire again. 13, come on. Move forward, and we're just going to fire here. Hopefully we break them. We might even get an auto break with the amount of enemies we're killing here, so... They had 504 men. They now have 318 just from missile fire. That's a lot of dead guys. Dally says, example from Plutarch's sayings of Spartan women. As a man was relating to his sister the noble death of her son, she said, as glad as I am for him, I am sorry for you that you were left behind when you might have gone in such brave company. And hearing that her son had been slain fighting bravely in the line of battle, said, yes, he was mine. But learning in regard to her other son that he had played the coward and saved his life, she said, no, he was not mine. Wow. That is a rough mom. That's not a friendly mother. Supposed to comfort you. She's not supposed to be like, well, he was no son of mine. So I was going to charge these guys, but I'm pretty sure you can see them just dropping like flies. We can pretty much break these guys with just missile fire. I'm almost certain of that. Unless, of course, the enemy charges us before we are able to do that. We're going to find out if they can. Let's see what the Spartans do, what tricks they have up their sleeve here. Oh, they're going to go for the charge. And actually, they're probably going to be able to hit this infantry unit. Let's see how they do. Actually, pretty even. So they finally reached us, but I think we can break this unit. They're already fragmented. I mean, the evasion of our army is so cool, but if I'm imagining it's enraging to the enemy because, you know, we're basically firing at them, breaking them, and then running away before they can even get to us. In some cases, as you can see here in the center, they are getting to us, but if we can try and hold our lines here, that's really the key to victory as the Persians. Just keep firing, pepper the enemy with fire, attack a little bit, retreat, attack a little bit more, and just decimate them before they even reach your lines. Ooh, they're still chasing our general. They haven't given up the chase yet. Okay, back to our side. I'll take a look at the chat now, guys. Sorry, I've really been focusing on the game. Hey, Salva. Dally says, I'm all for Persians. I don't judge. No worries, Dally. Ah, that's what it is. Thanks, Fire Scorpion. So let's see actually who got it. Spadabada. That is definitely what it is, I believe. Well, it's the name of the unit, but not the name of the actual shield itself. Maybe it is Spada. I think Spada might be it. Okay, let's see. And we might charge in with our Persian Immortals here. But I think what I'm going to do first is move forward and fire into the group here of Armored Citizen Hoplites. Now, these, once again, are Citizen Hoplites as well, but they're kind of a rung up. They're Armored Citizen Hoplites. They have enough money to afford their own actual armor, which is definitely helpful to us. Fire, beautiful. And I want to see if we can break this unit right now. Let's go for it. Breaks, sure enough. I think we're going to charge right into the enemy here, and look at that. We got so lucky. They're already slightly disrupted, although we are showing our flank to a Citizen Hoplite unit, which is not good. That being said, we have a really good chance of breaking this unit this or next turn. Let's see what we do here. Kill them all. They're already disrupted, and the Spartans are at 9%. No, we'll just keep firing. There we go. Get another shot off. Beautiful. So they're already disrupted. Let's see what we want to do right here. Now, I don't like that the enemy's gotten behind our lines here, especially not with the general unit. Photios, son of Melaton. So this is their actual general. We want to be very careful, because we have a chance here to possibly kill this guy, which would almost end the battle immediately. Now, keep in mind, you don't lose a battle by losing your general, by any means, but it certainly would affect the enemy's morale. Okay. Fire right into the flank. Even missile fire into flanks is going to do a tremendous amount of damage, and we actually can do a really good charge here with our Immortals into Zephyros, son of Prokoros. And look at that, they held firm, but they're reeling from that for sure. Decimos. Could actually get a decent flank attack here. But I think what I'd rather do is turn, fire at this enemy right here. And we'll do the same with this guy. We'll actually get really close, and we're just going to drop arrows right on top of him. 8. That guy is in so much trouble here. All right, let's take a look. What else? What else? What else? Okay, I'm going to send this guy around the enemy, and we'll fire at this unit right here. The Armored Citizen Hoplites. Looks like we didn't do any damage there. The Light Horse Archers let us down. Probably not full Spartans. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think there's a Sassanid list, but we can take a look. We'll actually run through the army lists at some point in the stream to make sure that everybody sees the armies they like. I mean, keep in mind, there are 8 factions, 8 new factions. I know the Syracusans are in there, although I think the Syracusans were there before. I could be wrong. We'll take a look. We'll go and see, but of course, the big draw is definitely the Persian Empire, the full army list of the Persian Empire, 5 different army lists, and the Spartans. Let's confirm here in the turn. Oh, man. Come on, guys. This is a chance for a victory. Oh, their general is attacking us. Commander-in-Chief 61. He's really, really strong. Alright, unfortunately, guys, we're not going to stick it through there. So here on the left side, the Spartans are doing really well. And even if you look at the mini-map, you can see a really big red circle here just smashing our lines. We've got to win on the right side here because they're managing to reach our lines. And despite us doing a lot of damage to them, they could absolutely still win this battle. 9 to 6% is a very, very close battle. Nice shot, and I think they're going to break our cavalry units. Not the cavalry. Come on, boys. Our Immortals are trying to break this unit here, but it's very back and forth. There we go. That was a nice attack, but the enemy held firm, the Citizen Hoplites. So I'm actually going to charge in with our Spadabada foot. Not bad, but not good enough. Let's put it that way. Here we go. All right, we fragmented the enemy. And they've broken. Beautiful. Fragments the enemy again, and we're actually charging in with our cavalry. So I wanted my cavalry to attack this unit. Unfortunately, he decided to do his own thing. That's too bad, but I think we can actually break this enemy here. And sure enough, look at that. So much for the Spartans that never run. These guys are running, and they're running quickly. Let's fire here, and eventually we might charge in with these Immortals. So I think I just want to hit this guy with as much fire as possible. See if we can actually fragment him here a little bit. And if we fragment him, it's going to make it a lot easier to break him with the Immortals unit. It's not essential, but it would help. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we're charging with the Immortals. Come on. 36. Wow, the enemy held firm. I have to say, like, the enemy's strong here. They're definitely not giving us even an inch. So I could charge, but the loss percentage is way too high here. I think I'll just get close and fire at the enemy up here. Okay. Let's step back with these guys a bit. And despite the fact that the enemy is running away, I'm going to shoot them. I think their mothers would be proud. They're Spartans after all. Here we go. Enemy fragmented. Probably in the next turn they're going to break. And I'm actually going to fire at the missile unit here, although I don't want to get in a protracted fight with the enemy missile unit. You know, that could prove deadly for our general. So I don't think we have much of a choice. So let's see if we can break through with our Immortals. Come on, Immortals. They still can't make it through. Not yet, anyway. That unit's in a bit of trouble. I'm really concerned about this left flank. As you can see, the hoplites are starting to kind of turn here towards us, but over here we're doing very well. So maybe we can... It's too late to send units over, honestly, but maybe there's something we can do. Fire. This unit, the cavalry, will absolutely be broken this turn, and I'm going to turn it over to the Spartans. Let's take a look here at the chat. Make Cyrus great again. Yes. So that's a good question, Dally. If you buy anything on Matrix where we have a Steam copy, you automatically get a Steam code as well. So if you purchase something on the Matrix site and you get that, you download it, you will absolutely have a Steam copy as well. That's why we do recommend people, if they can, to purchase something from the Matrix site. It's much better for us, of course. So if you can, that's the best way to go about it. And yes, you'll absolutely also get a copy on Steam. Let's go ahead and end the turn here. See what these Spartans have for us. Oh, wow. It's a very vicious attack. They're cutting right through our wicker shields here. Hold on just a bit longer, boys. Oh, they disrupted our Immortals. Not so immortal. "36 fragmented," and yeah, of course, they're going to crush our unit there with their Photios, son of Melaton, their commander-in-chief, and that was a great move by the AI. You know, really great move. They're just basically closing us off, encircling us, and killing us. I don't think we're running enough. As the Persians, we should be running a lot more. We're kind of trying to duke it out, and that's not going to work. So now the game is totally tied up. In fact, now the Spartans are ahead of us, 23% to 18%. I am worried. See, I told you, fighting a missile unit like that may not be the greatest idea, because now he's actually starting to fragment a general unit, and he's just a puny javelin man, but he knows how to use the javelin fairly well. All right, we're disrupted. Come on, boys. This is the only place we can win. 39, enemy held firm. We've got to win over here on the right side. Beautiful. So there's a break, but of course this guy is going to chase the enemy there for a while. Our general is standing firm, which is good. So I'm going to jump right back over here. This is really the most important part of the battle. If we can break through here, we can win. Almost certain of that. So I'm going to charge against my own better judgment. And it looks like our men just kind of fell back. They're not interested in that. Oh boy, yeah, this is a very, very rough situation. Let's move forward, and I think I'm going to see if I can charge here. I think we have no choice. We have to try and break through. Come on, boys. At this point, we have to throw everything we have at the enemy. May have underestimated the Spartans a little bit. Just a tiny bit, maybe. Wow, we just get one guy in that unit. I'm sure a lot of other arrows actually hit that unit at this distance, but these guys are very well armored, clearly. Let's see if we can charge here. So here we could charge, but it wouldn't really be very effective. I only want to charge if we know we're going to be winning on the charge. And actually here, we have a chance to win, but I don't think it's strong enough to go for the attack. Then again, let's go. Let's just do it. Come on. I didn't think so. Very Persian of you, says Fire Scorpion. Apparently underestimating your enemy is quite common, yes, among the Persians. Well, I played my part well, but right now we're definitely losing the battle. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we basically got all our units over here. They've completely routed our units on this side, on the left. Really good job by the Spartans. All right, turning it over to the Spartans. Kill all the generals if they lose the battle. How about that? Now I think you'll fight harder, huh? I think actually our general unit is probably going to end up breaking automatically. No, he just broke. And definitely scared some of our units a bit. They had to take a cohesion test. Nice. Enemy retreated there. But look at that flank attack. The flank attack is going to break us completely. Oh my goodness, there's Photios. Look at that, guys. I have to give it to the AI. When the AI does this well, I can't help but be somewhat surprised. It's really, really good. They've absolutely crushed us. I think that's going to be a GG. Because if they can get us to 45%, there only needs to be a 25% difference if they can get us to 45%, I believe. Or a 20% difference, as a matter of fact. Maybe they can't quite get us there this turn, but I think this is definitely a Spartan victory. Oh, and look at that. No mercy. Even our guys that are running are getting hit. No mercy at all by Sparta. Okay, let's take a look here at the chat. Yeah, he wasn't being serious. I could see Fire Scorpion's heart. Muso just broke Fire Scorpion's heart there. He was so happy for us. He's like, wait, you have a giveaway? Maybe there's a key left. That's mean, Muso. Don't do that. That's mean. All right, here we go, guys. Let's go ahead and charge. Or actually, we're gonna fire. And I think I'm gonna try to charge with my Immortals. Our last stand. And they held firm. I mean, when it says held firm, what that means is you basically damage the enemy enough for them to take a morale check. And in almost every case here, they've been able to basically just say, no, we'll stick around for a bit longer, and have kept fighting. These Spartans are incredible, I have to say. They are incredible. Held firm twice against cavalry. I mean, just gotta love them. Okay. At this point, I'm just seeing if I can break through in any way, but I just don't see an opportunity to do that. I mean, this is definitely a Spartan game. It's just it's a matter of time at this point. Pixel says, "My God, look at the crumpled camel. He's really focused on that camel." You losing as Persia gave me a tumor, says Fire Scorpion. We'll have time to redeem ourselves against these Spartans. They've clearly cheated. We have to fight again. It was amazing, though, how quickly they turned that battle on us. I mean, we had a great start in the battle, and they just killed our commander-in-chief. Farhad is dead. But we had a great start in that battle, and unfortunately, they absolutely did what Spartans are supposed to do. They encircled us, they're moving in, and they're just wiping us out. There's so many dead Persians here on the field. We have a few dead Spartans, but for the most part, we have definitely taken the hit in this battle. Cowards! They ran! And this is against an enemy unit that's losing, so unbelievable. We did manage to auto-break one of their units, but it's going to make no difference whatsoever. Look at all those Persians. Apparently the game is still going, so I think at this point they're going to have to get me to 60% to break me, and I'm going to keep fighting. I'm not giving up, just like the Spartans would. As the Persians here, I feel it's my duty to fight to the very end. We've got to at least try and kill as many of them as possible. Because at this point, our generals are definitely going to be killed, either by the enemy or by Xerxes himself. So we're going to have to see what happens here. Alright, they held firm there. Can't break through there at all. What about... Nope. Wow, look at this. I've never seen a unit stuck this badly. Our armored cavalry is basically just stuck from doing anything. That is really bad news. Okay. I think we'll end the turn here, and that's going to be a GG. Oh, cool. So Fire Scorpion said that the Persians later captured one of the Roman emperors and made him kneel. Not surprising, especially if it was one of the later emperors, you know. There was a time period there where there would be an emperor every few months. A new emperor every few months. So I wouldn't be too surprised. I'm going to go for the charge. We have to. Especially since the enemy is slightly broken there. Or not broken, but fragmented. At least our general died with honor. Okay, I'm going to turn back with this guy. Okay, let's end the turn. And as you can see, the Spartans are already beginning to rally. Flank attack. It's gonna. Oh no! It's gonna be. That's gonna be really damaging. We've broken. They got us to 55% at this point. You're trying to push to that 60. Once you get to 60%, that's an automatic win. So even if you've got 59 and your opponent has 60%, you win the game. It's really that simple. So at this point, they are so close to breaking us. So those guys just dispersed. They just dropped their shields, dropped their swords, and just ran away. And there we go. Your army has lost heart. You are defeated. I absolutely want to see the final stats here. And don't forget, you can also review the battlefield, so you could take a look and see the bodies. In fact, we'll go ahead and take a look right now, because I do want to see the bodies on the battlefield. I mean, we lost a lot of men for sure. In that initial attack, we managed to kill quite a lot of the enemy hoplites. You can see a bunch of them in this tile dead, but for the most part, these are dead Persians, unfortunately. All right, let's end the review. And let's see. So the final losses, quite interesting. The Spartans had 533 men killed, 1,076 wounded. We had 403 men killed, 503 wounded. It's actually not massive losses on our side, but it's enough, of course, to lose the battle. We had a much smaller army than the enemy. So we had 6,000 men. They had 11,000 men. That's definitely a big difference. Let's go back a little bit here, guys, because I do want to show you the battles, the epic battles. And there have been a few added here for Immortal Fire. So we're going to launch Immortal Fire here, and we're going to take a look at this epic battles list. Let's see if anybody recognizes any of these. I hope that some of you do. Okay, so we've got Thimbra. This is, of course, the Persians against the Lydians. The Battle of Marathon. Come on, guys. You should know this one. We've got, of course, the Battle of Plataea, Cunaxa, Chaironea, Granicos, Issos, and Gaugamela. Hydaspes. I think this is supposed to be Hydrapes. I could be wrong. It might be Hydaspes. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be the first time. And this is pretty cool. So these are the Macedonians against the Indians. I absolutely want to try this. As you guys could imagine, when Alexander the Great first started marching into India, I mean, this was the farthest he had gone, of course, and he had to face a number of different Indian kingdoms to be able to really, gain some power in a part of the country. And he really had to convince his men to keep on fighting. They did not want to keep on fighting. They'd gone far enough. They'd had plenty of conquest. They'd had plenty of plunder. They didn't need any more, but of course they had to keep going. So we're going to try this battle out. And I believe we are playing as, yes, the Greeks, of course, or the Macedonians, excuse me. Shame on me. Okay. And we've actually played, for those of you that have seen it, we have actually played a battle or actually a campaign as the Macedonians, a short campaign on one of our streams where we won. So we know the Macedonians are really good fighters. Of course, now with the addition of Alexander the Great, probably even better. I can't wait to see sort of how these guys fight. We definitely want to grab a bunch of cavalry here. But we don't want to forget the veteran pike phalanx. So I might actually put one of these guys back. Which one did I take? Is it this one? I know what I have to do. Alright, we're going to have to take... yeah, all the veteran pike phalanxes we can get. And maybe just regular pike phalanx as well. 72! Oh, it's so expensive. Of course, it's Alexander's pike phalanx. Alright, we're going to take one unit of Zhistoforoi. And we'll accept. We've already got a really nice setup here. Look at the enemy's units. We're going to get a very, very close view here, but this is pretty scary stuff. So as you can see here, we've got some Indian heavy chariots. I've never faced the Indians before, so this is actually a first for me as well. And they've got a lot of Indian archers. In fact, it looks like most of their army is made up of archer units. And I don't know how we're going to do against them because we have mostly hoplites. And hoplites aren't made for fast combat. You know, they're made to defend, essentially. So we're going to have to break these archers somehow. And I think it's going to have to be our cavalry, ultimately, that accomplishes the task. So let's move forward. There we go, boys. Here at the Battle of Hydaspes. See if we can take a look around. Oh, wow. They have elephants. Look at this, guys. A ton of elephants. A ton of archers. This is definitely an army I would not want to face under any circumstances. Yeah, I think so. I think Pixel has basically guessed what's going to happen, and that's going to be the Indians are likely going to shoot, and try to get around your phalanx line. Hey, how's it going, Richard? Good to see you, man. Let's take a look here. If you want to defeat the Greek Spartans with Persians, you will need to use rough terrain as much as possible. If there isn't any, you're pretty much screwed. That makes sense. Do I have the game speed turned down? I don't have the game speed turned down. Maybe we're getting a little bit of lag. We could try and restart a bit. So let me quit the game, guys, and restart. Give me a second here. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, I saw a little lag myself there. So let's jump into campaigns here. Sorry, not campaigns. We want to go to epic battles. We'll set up again. I'm not too worried about setting up again as Alexander the Great here. So I think one benefit is we have a lot of cavalry. We need to use that to our advantage. We probably need to use that to try and flank and maybe rout some of the enemy archer units. But I feel like they could probably shoot us down before we even get to them. So we're going to jump back to Hydaspes here. We are, of course, playing as the Macedonians under Alexander the Great. Okay, that's probably a lot better. So, here we go. I'm going to go ahead. I would love to grab some Iranian armored cavalry, but first, I want to make sure I've got my veteran pike phalanx units. You know, these are the backbone of Alexander's army. Very, very strong. And now I can go for some Iranian armored cavalry. Now, keep in mind that now these units can not only charge, they can also fire bows. So they're going to be very useful in basically just peppering the enemy. Of course, the enemy has a lot of bows themselves. So I'm going to start moving forward here. Let's go ahead and actually start turning these guys. I want to make sure that they're all facing right ahead of them. Keep your eyes ahead of you, boys. Actually, I wouldn't mind just moving forward. I was going to do the whole turn, but no, we can actually just move like this. That's not a problem. And now we're running at 46 frames per second, so we're doing fine here. Yeah, I think we just played too much and maybe overloaded the system a bit. So we don't have many, we really don't have much of a phalanx. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. So we've really gone strong on cavalry, which I think was probably the right move. Because the fact is, with these units, we're not going to be able to run down a bunch of enemy archers. It's just not going to work. So we're going to have to use the cavalry to some extent. As for the enemy elephants, I have no idea what we could do to stop them. It's going to be tough, to say the least. I think you should be able to ride them down if you can get to them, says Alexius. You don't really need to flank them. Let's go for it. Absolutely. So we're going to go for just basically a straight charge right into them, if we can get to them, like Alexius mentioned. We're going to go ahead and end the turn here. And let's see what the Indians do. Wow, they've got so many men. That's the creepy part here. They've just got a tremendous amount of men. Of course, if we can start a chain reaction, you know, it's just going to be like a set of dominoes. We'll drop them very quickly if we can start hitting them really hard. Now, I want to see, hopefully Alexius can answer us before we make this move. Should we charge the chariots? I think I'm going to stay away from the heavy chariots, and I'm going to try to charge exclusively over here. So we've got some enemy cavalry here. I'm going to move these guys up. And, of course, right here we've got Alexander himself, the commander-in-chief, ready for action. But I don't want to get him too close to the enemy units. So I want to be very, very careful about how I do this. I think we'll move up and fire at the cavalry with our bows. Or fire at the chariots. Well, it's a form of cavalry. And also fire at the enemies here with our bows. Sort of try to loosen them up a bit. And then move in with the rest of our cavalry units. So a real exotic flavor to this particular DLC. Let's see what else we can do here. So I want to move these guys forward, but I want to be very careful about how I do it. With the chariots there, you know, they could easily run us down. Most of the phalanxes across the other side of the river facing off against the rest of the Indian army, says Alexius. Interesting. Charge the chariots with your lancers. Okay. So we've got some lancers here, the companion cavalry. We've also got lancers here. Alexander, in fact, has a lancer unit. And we are going to get close and charge, but I'm very, very nervous about charging them, and in fact, we're not in range. So I think what I'm going to do is just get close enough, hopefully they don't charge us first. Start setting our men up for sort of basically an explosion from here. We're going to send this frontal group forward. We're going to send this group to the left over here to sort of the northwest, I guess you could call it. And we'll turn these guys around as well. I'm a little worried about our hoplites, but I think their main goal in this particular battle should be just to remain there and not get killed. That's essentially their job. Okay. Lysimachos. I want to be careful with Lysimachos, especially since I see some really scary elephants coming this way. So let's actually get out of here with our cavalry. I think we could fire at them pretty soon, at the elephant units, and we might try to do that. It certainly worked for me in the past with other armies, but right now I just want to focus on this right side. Let's end the turn. Oh, we've got a lot of chariots on the way. So the chariots seem to essentially just be host to a missile unit of sorts. They don't seem to really be chariots that necessarily charge into battle, as far as I can tell. But they do have a spearman on there too, so maybe they do have that ability as well. But they're definitely using the ability of just firing their arrows. So we really want to charge in soon. I think, just like Alexius mentioned, it's really important to make contact with these guys quickly. If we can do that, we can break them. They don't have much armor. You know, they've got really nice bows. That's about it. In terms of armor, it's non-existent. And they've also got elephants and chariots. The elephants and chariots part is much scarier than just the bows. The bows we can deal with, for the most part. Okay, let's see what we do here, guys, and let's take a look here at the chat. Fieldcast says, the Indians will make you a storm of arrows. Ah, thank you, Alexius. Alexius says, this is not a battle where caution will be helpful. It'll just give the Indians more time to shoot you to bits. It makes sense. Yeah, so we really want to make contact now, basically. So we're going to try. Unfortunately, we can't charge with this guy quite yet. We can probably charge the enemy here, and look at that already. We actually have a pretty good chance of beating them in close combat. Of course, they're going to evade, and that's the natural reaction here. But at least we're running some of them off, and if we focus on the infantry specifically over here, I don't think they're going to be able to evade us. Let's go for it. Here we go. All right, we're making contact. We're making contact. Let's go ahead and turn and fire. Already disrupted the enemy unit just with one volley there. Let's go for another one. So we can tell they're not used to these Macedonian arrows at all. Well, really, these Persian arrows, let's be honest. I think at this point, Alexander was certainly enamored by a lot of different things in Persian culture by the time he reached India. Okay, let's take a look here. I'm not going to charge there, but I'll fire. And we really need to get these Lancers on the attack, so we're going to take Alexander himself. There we go. Impact. 39. Disrupted right away. Beautiful. I think we can charge here as well. Disrupted. Beautiful. Save your general. Not bad. So the enemy did manage to hold firm, but they didn't like that. They didn't like that one bit. Alright. Move this guy forward as well. And see if I can get a nice shot there on the chariots. And those, actually, they took a little morale check there. They didn't like that. Smash the wings as soon as possible. We're going to do our best. In terms of our hoplites, I'm not too sure what we should do. I think, you know, right now I'm just kind of considering staying put. But maybe we should try to fight the enemy here. I don't think so. I think we're going to send this cavalry over here and have them join this other group of cavalry. Now that I think about it, looking at the battlefield, we may have been better off keeping this cavalry together the entire time. Basically just putting them on one side and just smashing the enemy. See what the companion cavalry can do here, and I think we can charge. Yes, we can. Lancers at the ready. So the enemy is holding firm, but we're definitely damaging them. We could break them. If we break through here, we're going to go right into this group of archers. And depending on how many of them we can take out, you know, we can get very close to victory. I'm going to also move the Thessalian cavalry back here. They've got light spears. I don't know if that would classify them as lancers. I think you need heavy spears, but I could be wrong. But I do want to get them close to the enemy archers. So let's, as for our hoplites, I'm not really sure. Move forward here. Yeah, I think with the hoplites we'll move forward at the very least. Just a bit. If we have any elephants try to attack us, then we can always go into a square formation like this. I'm going to undo the move, but just to show you guys, you know, you can always do that. Protect all sides, essentially. And we will end the turn. But as you guys can see, if you look at the mini-map, we're a tiny portion of the battlefield here, and the Indians have this massive group of units all along the battlefield. I mean, they greatly outnumber us. Let's go ahead and end the turn. Oh, 35. Ooh. Their archers definitely know how to fire their bows. Unbelievable. I'd be surprised if the unit doesn't auto-break. Come on, Lancers. Okay, let's see if we could break through here. We're going to use... No, I don't want to use Alexander first. Let's use this guy first. Companion cavalry. Now we'll use Alexander. Oh, surprising. These chariots are holding up. Let me see if I can send in one of our hoplite units to charge. Oh, they held firm. Very cheeky. Very cheeky. Okay, I think we're going to try to get behind the enemy. They also have cavalry. Did not expect that. So some Indian cavalry units up here.
Gonna get a flank charge here on the Indian cavalry unit, and I think they're gonna run away, but they can't outrun all of our men, so we're gonna get a flank charge here. This actually seems pretty even. And despite this being just a light javelin horse unit, I am going to charge. The Indian cavalry here is already a bit sort of shaken up. So if we can break them, then we're off to a great start. I'm going to take the armored cavalry here. Charge. Wow, the Indians are really holding firm here. I'm very surprised. And actually, we could actually charge here as well. Let's go for it. Wonderful. We've disrupted another unit. Now, as for this cavalry unit, I think they're pretty much finished, although we stand a chance to maybe get this elephant tangled up in some spears. That would be really great. So I'm actually going to move over here. We're going to have to move this cavalry in a little bit of a strange formation, but at least we'll save them and possibly be able to use them a little bit later. So let's do that. I'm actually going to go ahead and fire at the elephants with my light javelin horse. Okay. Alert, alert, elephant on your left, says Philcus. Stay in close combat as much as possible so they can't shoot you. This is actually a very good suggestion by Alexia. So, for those of you that played Field of Glory 2 or any of Richard's games, the way it works is if a unit is essentially in combat with another unit, then you can't fire bows into that combat. So if we can at least get our guys entangled in a fight, and here there's a high chance for a draw. So yeah, I think there's definitely a worthy risk here, because they're not going to be able to shoot us with their arrows if we're in a fight, basically. So we just need to keep getting our guys in these fights, stick it through as long as possible, and eventually we'll break through. I think that's all we're going to do now. Let's turn it over to the Indian army. Oh, we've got some rallying chariots here. It's not good. I'm going to zoom out here a bit so that we can see the damage markers. $23. And of course that unit auto-broke. There was nothing we could do to stop that. That was of course the cavalry unit that had been peppered with arrows the turn before. And we knew they were going to break eventually. It was really just a matter of time. But I'm worried about these hoplites. I mean, I thought they were going to be able to stand up pretty well to the Indian archers with the armor they had, but they're getting hit for a lot of damage. So we're going to have to try and get them in a fight of some sort. Oh, I thought they were done, but no. It's only just begun. Come on, guys. All right, here we might be able to break this unit. Sure enough, we did break one of the Indian cavalry units. What about here? We disrupted another. Not so bad. And we broke one of the chariots. Okay. Let's keep those fingers crossed, boys, because we have a chance here. It's a small one, but we absolutely have a chance. Flank attack on the enemy cavalry there. And I told you guys before, it's like dominoes. If we could start knocking one down, they're going to fall all together here. We've already disrupted one of the enemy archers, and I'm absolutely going to charge here. and try to get stuck into combat. I think they're going to run, but if they don't, that's perfect. Yes! Oh, perfect. We've pushed them back. I think we can actually charge in with our Iranian Armored General. I think this is what Richard was talking about, being able to just basically secure the enemy here, hold them down, and now we do with them as we wish. We can just chop their army up into bits, but to do that, we have to be in combat all the time. So we have to get our men stuck into a fight every chance we get. Let's see if we can get stuck into this fight here. Oh, yes. Beautiful flank attack. And unfortunately, with these guys, we cannot get stuck in a fight. I am going to go ahead and just fire at the enemy. And hopefully we can use these guys to force the enemy to retreat. I'm going to flank charge here, and the enemy automatically broke. Beautiful. So actually we're doing okay. I mean, you know, all things considered, facing a massive Indian army. Thank you, Alexius. So form square with pikes on the left, and I think he's talking about this, the foot companions. I think that's a great idea. I mean, when all else fails, form a square. Try to at least defend yourself as best you can. As for this unit, I'm not going to move them yet, but definitely consider moving them eventually. I don't know if I should charge here. I think I'm going to form a square here as well. So now we're just, basically it's all up to our cavalry. Charge. Fragmented, and we killed an enemy general. I'm not sure if it was the commander-in-chief. We should have gotten a better look. But overall, that's very helpful. Fragmented. Enemy broke here. Wow. And look at this. We can break the enemy here. And they seem to hold firm there for a second. Not too shabby. Thanks, Pixel. It wasn't even me. I really was mostly the units. I mean, just the fact that they followed through. You know, it's really the most important thing. And these guys absolutely followed through. So now let's see what happens. We can't get, you know, too happy all of a sudden. Yeah, sure, we destroyed a lot of Indian units here, but there's a lot of fighting to be done. So let's end the turn and see what happens. So some of the chariots are just dispersing. Ostensibly, the generals are just jumping off the chariot into the jungle and saying, forget this, I don't want to fight anymore. Here we go, come on, boys. They're definitely not nervous about getting close, that's for sure. So we are in square formations. I'm not sure if this is going to do much against the archers, to be fair, but I think it'll certainly protect against the elephants, at least temporarily, and against any cavalry attacks. Very effective formation for cavalry attacks. Unfortunately here, there's not much we can do. Those guys were definitely softened up by the enemy archers here. And just look at how many of them there are. Just all over the place. A lot more chariots over there on the left side. I don't think they're going to get to us, but just goes to show you that this is not a puny empire. It's a massive empire here, and look at that. We're still managing to beat them back. 73. We broke another unit. Keep it up, boys. Now we've got to get into a fight really quickly. So I'm a little uncertain as to what to do here. And we could try to attack the elephants. I think that's a bit suicidal. But at the same time, maybe it's the right thing to do. Thanks, Pixel. So Pixel mentioned the general that rallied was a general. Well, the chariot that rallied was a general, too. Okay, let's see what we do here. Go for a charge. Fragmented. Don't stop while you're ahead, right? So let's keep on attacking. For the elephant, I'm just going to fire, actually. But I will get this cavalry unit over here. Turn him towards the enemy. Hopefully the enemy doesn't get the bright idea to face us here. I'm going to charge this guy only because I want to get behind the enemy. So hopefully we can stop the charge when we feel like it, but I think that we might need to continue with that charge for a while. Let's go ahead and get a shot here. And that was my fault. We closed in one of our actual cavalry units. Maybe we should get out of squares here and try to go for the attack. Send this guy behind our men and around. Fire! We still got a bunch of cavalry over here as well, guys. We can't forget about them. Nice little disruption there on the enemy cavalry units. We're going to keep this guy in square, but we'll take this guy out of it. And we'll turn it over to the Indians.
They finally managed to break one of our units. Well, one of our hoplite units, I should say. Why leaving the square was not a good idea. I did want to leave the square to try to attack the enemy archers and basically start a chain reaction, but unfortunately the elephant was always going to get that flank charge as soon as we left the square, so, you know, just not something you can really win. Here we go. Breaks. They have so many men that when one unit breaks, it sticks and it stays at 15%. We're going to have to break a few more of their men if we want to actually make it through. Now, interestingly enough, if we actually remain in the fight, this unit will start doing better than the elephant. But that's if we remain in the fight. And that's highly improbable. Let's go ahead and charge. Nice. We have to fall back. I'm going to help over here against the enemy infantry. Or actually, these are archers, sorry. Let's charge here as well. Our Nomad light horse archers are more than willing to get into the fight here with the enemy. Hand-to-hand combat. Nice fragmentation there on the enemy line. Oh, if we could have just got one more shot, I think we could have actually broken them. I'm actually going to charge here.
very even. And I wish our Iranian armored cavalry would stop attacking. They need to come back. We definitely need to return as soon as possible. Definitely don't want to attack with the elephants. But I'm going to leave the square here with our general. I don't want to move this guy around, and since he has to go ahead and increase that morale anyway, I think we have time. And what's this? We can charge. And hello, welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining us. So this is an Indian javelinman unit. I'm going to go ahead and try to charge my lancers. And we disrupted them. Nice. Now, if we could get these lancers to come down as well, then we're going to be doing really well. That was weird. It said I couldn't charge the Indian elephants, but it let me charge. That was a little strange. Maybe not the best idea, though. Get this guy around. Get this guy around as well. Alexander himself, of course. And I might move this guy as well. Not much else we can do, except try and hold out as long as possible. Pixel says, 1 elephant sandwich special coming right up. 1 elephant sandwich special, I like that. That's a good name for it. No one likes elephants if they're attacking. If they're attacking, we're very pro-elephant here at Slytherin, believe me. Alright, let's end the turn here. I guess we're going to run these guys right off the map. So, I don't remember exactly what happens. I believe in Pike and Shot when that occurs, you do get some points back if your men run off, but I don't think our guys should have chased the enemy this much. I mean, you know, 1 or 2 turns, I get it. 3 turns of chasing? It's insane. Our guys were really angry at the enemy units. And as you can see, the units are getting really close. They're attacking the hoplite general. But I'm not too worried because, again, our main focus is going to be the cavalry. Although if they can break them that quickly, yeah, that's a little concerning. Nice. They absolutely crushed the foot companions here. And now they're just trampling them to death with elephants. Alexius is absolutely right, though. The key to this battle, I mean, really timing is the key. You know, if we were able to close the ranks a little faster, we absolutely could have done better. But, I mean, there's just so many of the enemies. If you don't start that chain reaction immediately, there's going to be a lot of problems. But you can see how effective that chain reaction was earlier in the battle. Just, you know, we managed to make 6 or 7 units just immediately rout. So, you know, the victory is absolutely possible. But maybe there's a reason this is the last battle on the list for this particular DLC, because it's quite a challenging one. We managed to break the enemy there. Nice. Oh, we got some units rallying. Beautiful. Come on, hoplites. And the enemy's held firm. I'm surprised once again. Unfortunately, our hoplite general dispersed. He's heading back to Macedon to claim his riches, I'm sure. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and charge through here, or try to charge through. Nice. And unfortunately, we can't charge here because the zone of control is actually controlled by the Indian javelin men, but we can certainly charge here. And again, it's important to always be in combat in this fight. When this happens, we're in a lot of trouble because now the enemy can actually fire at us. Beforehand, they can't necessarily fire at us, so they have to actually fight the actual battle. And this is where we have a chance of winning. If we can manage to basically engage all of them in a fight and start pushing them left, or westwards, I should say, that's going to be the key to victory here. And I just don't think we can achieve it yet, but there's always a chance. fact. Let's keep getting closer. Alexander himself right there. And actually now we're doing very well against the elephant. What about here? Okay, ending the turn, turning it over to the Indian Army. Sure enough, those guys ran all the way to the end of the field to chase the enemy. Oh, we've got some enemies rallying here. $103. Unbelievable attack. Zoom out a bit here so we can see the damage. Man. Nice. The enemy's holding firm. You know, also, you know, in any of the sort of Field of Glory games or Pike and Shot, you know, one massive thing, and we just broke the enemy there. One massive thing is, of course, luck. Had we broken the enemy here, had they not held so many times, I think we would be a lot farther ahead in this battle. Just my opinion. Let's go ahead and charge. General Fallen, no! No! It wasn't Alexander, but it was one of Alexander's friends, so he's not going to be happy about that. Fragmented. Oh, look at that, guys. So, tremendous fragmentation along the enemy line. They're holding firm, though, in a lot of places. Nice. Gonna keep moving this way. I'm not worried about these guys at all reforming. But you can never be too sure. Nice. Already fragmented them, and I think we can break them even with just a charge from a Nomad Light Horse Archer unit. And sure enough, look at that. So one thing is for sure, the enemy is much weaker than us, but, you know, they have much larger numbers. So yeah, you've got to try to get into combat very quickly with them, finish them off immediately, and lead your men to victory that way. Let's grab this guy. No, we've moved him already. Okay, we'll end the turn. We are getting close to the end of the stream, guys. I do want to save this one, because I want to see where this battle goes eventually. But I also want to show you guys the army lists, so you guys can take a look at just everything. Oh, they are starting to rally, a few of them. Some of them are dispersing, though. wow, just a massive army. Look at that. Look at that. It's incredible. I would love to see the end of this battle, primarily because I want to look at the field. I want to see the bodies on the field here. It looks like these guys are going to have to disperse. They have nowhere to run to, and look at that. We disrupted a bunch of enemy units there. Just a whole bunch of them. And, of course, they all had to take a morale check. They're disrupted. You know, at this point, we just have to keep on charging in. We very well could win the battle. Let's go ahead and save here, guys, before I forget. We'll call this one Today. How about that? Okay, so we're going to save that. Take a look here at the chat. Yeah, still 5 rows of archers. And still not all on the field, says Zach Blood. Absolutely true. And yeah, Zach Blood says it's extremely hard but doable. I believe you. I think it's definitely a doable battle. Thank you, Alexius. Alexius makes a great point. He says this particular battle is very much a tipping point battle. Either you roll them up like the dogs they are, or you stall them and get overwhelmed by numbers. I like the way he phrased that. Yeah, absolutely true. I mean, had we been lucky and gotten a few more of those breaks, you guys saw how quickly they were willing to fail their morale checks. So they actually don't have very high morale. If you can really hit them hard in the first few turns of the battle, you can win this battle, no matter how many men they have. I mean, even if they have a ridiculous amount of men, once a bunch of them start running, the rest are going to start running, and it's just going to be a huge waterfall of fleeing troops. So, before we get off the stream here, guys, I do want to jump to the main menu. I want to show you guys the army lists. We did already look at the Persians and the Spartans, but just in general, I want you guys to see if you see any changes, of course. So let's go ahead into battles, custom battle. Now, of course, I think just the addition of these armies alone, the army lists alone, is worth getting the game. I mean, the Achaemenid Persians, we have so many different army lists. You know, this is, of course, their first army list with the Immortals. Sorry, let me go back. They have newer army lists where they don't have the Immortals, so I don't really understand the thought process there. Maybe they just didn't need the Immortals anymore. Maybe the Immortals caused some sort of problem similar to the Praetorian Guard. Started trying to kill Persian emperors, I'm not sure. Ancient British, of course. Antigone Apulian, and just a lot of additions here. We, of course, have the Spartans that we were looking at before. The Syracusans, I'm pretty sure, were already in the game before. I'm not 100% sure on that, actually. But I think the addition of a new Syracusan army list here is new. But certainly the Spartans are absolutely amazing. There are 2 Spartan army lists. So let's take a look at the 461 to 281 BC one. Of course, you get the veteran hoplites. And actually, we had a few people mention on the last stream, they're like, oh, those don't really look like Spartans. So I think that's because that's one army list for Spartans. If we look at this army list for Spartans, the veteran hoplites look much different. As you can see, much cooler looking in my opinion. I really love this look. It's just awesome. And the difference is pretty simple. The Spartans here are 550 to 461 BC, so a little earlier. And the newer Spartans, 461 to 281 BC, are just, in my opinion, not as good as the earlier ones, with those really, really cool-looking units. So Philkis is already asking for the next expansion. Thank you so much, Tally. Agrippa is the bestest, he says. Thanks, bud. The bestest. Yes, just amazing. They went off them after losing the war against the Greeks. They decided it would be better to hire their own Greek hoplite mercenaries. Interesting. Yeah, I can't tell you guys because I honestly don't know. I'm not going to tell you who in this stream is Richard Bodley Scott, but I will tell you guys that the creator of the game is currently in the stream. I think most of you have already guessed who he is. And, you know, if he wants to let you guys know, I'll let him, but otherwise, you guys are just going to have to be patient and wait. This is absolutely something you must pick up. Pick up Immortal Fire. I want to see you guys playing a tremendous amount of Persians versus Spartan battles on the multiplayer servers. And Have You Played says, don't get me wrong, love Warhammer a lot, but let's stick to real history factions. Yes, real historical factions I think he meant, but I absolutely agree. I prefer the real historical factions. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you, Richard Bodley Scott, for watching us. We really appreciate you stopping by, giving your advice. I also want Muso to share our channel so everybody can go ahead and, you know, subscribe to us on YouTube. It really helps us out. And obviously, if we're not here streaming, you could watch us there. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed Immortal Fire. I have been loving it, and just overall having a really, really good time with it. Oh, I certainly will, Pixel. Take care, Deli. All right, my friends. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching the stream. Once again, make sure to check out those channels, and have a great, great day. My pleasure, my pleasure.